Karnataka DG has confirmed that the incident is an act of terror. He says that central agencies and state police are probing the issue, and Karnataka Home Minister says that the NIA will take over the investigation. Visuals of the incident show the auto rickshaw exploding after it came to a stop on a road and near a building where construction work was going on. I have with me these visuals, and we are going to help you give an explanation how the whole blast had taken place, at what time. Can we have the visuals? Yeah, there they are. Focusing on the time is at around 4:29 p.m. and the date is 19 November 2022, Saturday. This is that construction area, the building which is getting constructed, and you can see the road just opposite to it. We have circled the fumes for our viewers, which is quite visible in this particular slide. Moving on, we see that the onlookers have noticed that there has been a blast that has taken place. In the previous slide, we had seen fumes coming out, but they have now increased. It has the scenario looks very worrying, and the people are also noticing that there has been a blast that has taken place. Moving on, we see one person, this person in blue shirt, he is wearing a brownish kind of a jeans. He is rushing towards the blast spot to aid if there are any people there, to help them come out. This is around 4:30 p.m. It says 4:29:40. This is yesterday. This is around the 4:30 p.m. yesterday. This one person we can see is rushing towards the blast spot. More people rush to aid after seeing plumes of smoke. The smoke has now increased. We see three people. The person with the blue shirt has moved ahead. Another one follows, the person wearing black here, and the other person just behind him. They are moving towards the road where this blast had taken place exactly at 4:29 p.m. Further moving, we have another CCTV visual from another angle. This auto is seen on the road very clearly. We have marked it for you. The auto seen on the road here, it is, we can see it is standstill on the road. Like we said, before it burst into fumes, the auto was it stood on the center of the road. And moving on, let us see the next slide. Yes, just minutes after, we see that the auto has now bursted into flames. Well, it was an IED inside the pressure cooker. This blast had taken place. The auto has bursted into flames. Let us take a close look at this particular visual. We see the auto coming and stopping in the middle of the road and then bursting into fumes. There is a lot of smoke that has been created. Very clearly we can see how the smoke is now gathering all over, and people are coming out of their houses looking and seeing what exactly has happened. Another visual, this is from another CCTV. This is around 4:30 p.m. We see plumes of smoke now gathering the whole of the road area. People rushing to help. Three people we can see are rushing. Bikes and cars are stopping that were already on the road, and even very clearly we can see how the smoke has taken all the area nearby, and it is of course the blast that had taken place in Mangaluru. To discuss more on this, I have been joined by Madhav Nalapat, editorial director of the Sunday Guardian, Sumit Peer, political commentator, and we have Mr. Ved Bhushan, who is the former ACP. I start with Madhav Nalapat, sir. How do you react to this particular incident that has taken place? Karnataka DGP very clearly saying that it is an act of terror and not an accident.
Well, I'd like to say that it is a disturbing incident, and it does indicate the presence of elements in that area who are interested in destabilizing the situation not only there, but in other parts of the country. Now, obviously, the from the judging by the type of blast, it is not a very sophisticated bomb, but and that is one of the problems, that you can have this kind of unsophisticated device fabricated and then used. Clearly, this is not intended for exploding in the auto rickshaw. It is intended for exploding somewhere else. So that is, of course, something to be discovered by the police. But it's very, very important that the public be aware of this kind of a problem. Public be aware of the very few bad elements inside them, and they be able to identify, and they come forward and identify any such behavior, suspicious behavior that they are witnessing, because the public are the first line of defense against terror, and the public have the most to lose from acts of terror. So I think this is a very important lesson that needs to be learned. And I'd like to say that so far as Mangaluru is concerned, the public there are very conscientized to this particular danger. They are very alert to it. And that is one of the reasons why the situation there has been much better than certain elements incentivized from outside would have liked it to be.
All right, Mr. Ved Bhushan, I come to you. We had previously spoken on this particular incident. What are the steps that needs to be taken in order to safeguard, in order to secure and help the people being alert on such incidents that take place? For example, to tell the police if they find a suspicious bag or suspicious cooker, anything. What are the steps that need to be taken?
Priyanka, since FIR is registered, NIA also roped in for larger ramifications of this case, because it may be connected with PFI or some other agencies. As Professor Nalap was saying, it's correctly said, it was not a very sophisticated bomb, it was a crude bomb. It was carried in a pressure cooker, and the contents of pressure cooker to be examined by the FSL. And public needs to be very cautious while traveling in auto, bus, train, by air, because there are all type of possibilities in nowadays, because bombs and all these things are so much sophisticated that it can be taken in different type of shapes. Since the investigation is started, let us wait for the outcome of the investigation. There are a lot of evidences are available. From which place this auto is started, and from up to which places should we go. All the CCTVs will be examined. Auto driver and co-passenger who is accidentally injured in hospital, they are also to be examined at length, where they were exactly going, and the contents of bag in which this pressure cookers was staying will be examined. The remnants will be examined, whether the local made bomb was used to create some sensation in the area, because there is already 1 month back there was a blast in gas cylinder in Coimbatore, and a lot of things yet to be examined by the NIA, because NIA has larger implications. They have interstate investigation they also do, and there is duty to establish the motive behind this murder, why this took place. It's not a simple blast. We can say it's a simplified pressure cooker blast, but intentions was something more serious, and it to be examined by the police, by the local police. Now NIA, I think it will take the investigation, and it will come more revelations will come into it. Let us wait for the outcome of the investigation conducted by local police and NIA. Let's wait. Yes, Priyanka.
All right, at this point of time, Sumit Peer, political commentator, is also joining us. Sumit Peer, this explosion has, of course, taken the people and the authority, also the police and the centre, into noticing that such acts are happening, because a similar incident had taken place in Coimbatore. And do you think there is a move to create unrest in the south?
You see, ma'am, good afternoon. Honestly, if we look at it in isolation, it's too early to conclude what it is. It's a subject matter of investigation. it looks on the prima facie. But when we go deep into it, it happened in coastal Karnataka. Coastal Karnataka has been the epicenter of PFI. Now, with the series of blasts happening, all low-intensity blasts, that means some isolated cells or modules might be at work. Point number 3: when we look at the footage of the blast, what was the passenger carrying which caught fire and which had a blast? So obviously he was carrying something which was highly explosive material in nature. Now, what is the intention? What is the intent of that blast? Doesn't look, but if you see the quantum of smoke it generated, it doesn't look like a normal LPG cylinder blast or a CNG cylinder blast. It looks something totally different. Obviously, auto driver was not involved because he would have. So this passenger who was carrying this thing, which was seen getting fire, and there was such a blast. So that is where the where the problem is. What was he carrying? What was that material? What was that material which could literally explode at such a quantum and create such a quantum explosion? And so much of smoke, black smoke is there. So usually the color of smoke also determines a lot of things. So when you have a black color smoke, it's not very normal in a normal kind of a blast to have that. So these 3 things: coastal region, similar low intensity blasts have been happening there. And now, what was he carrying it? What was his intention? Was he going to make something? We have seen even in J&K, IEDs have been used. IED in a pressure cooker, IED in a different carrier. So all these things we know have been used by the terrorists in the past. Was this an IED? Was this a material being carried to make IED? What exactly this was? That only the subject, that only the investigation will reveal. Prima facie, a normal thing that we use in daily lives, you and me, what we carry in an auto in our daily lives, which normal people like you and me will carry in an auto, which will have a blast of this quantum. Our answer is nothing. So it was not a gas cylinder. It was not nothing that was visible. So what there was something which is not matching the things here. Obviously, people should not worry. They should not bother. The police and the NIA will be on the job. The Indian authorities and our law enforcement is very vigilant and they're watching it. But as we know, it is the epicenter of PFI, and the kind of surgical strike which was done on PFI. These people might be up to something. They're the lone wolf attack, or some here or there's some sleeper cell, here or there's some residual force left, which might be trying to do a comeback or strike back or something like that. We can't rule out anything at this point of time. Priyanka.
Right. Professor Nalapat, I come to you. What are your views in terms of the connections between the PFI and this particular incident? As Sumit P rightly said, that the coastal Karnataka is being the epicenter of the PFI, and the recent crackdown on PFI can probably, have had an impact on this particular incident.
You're quite right, Priyanka, and may I point out, it's not a coincidence that you have locations like Coimbatore and Mangaluru that are basically becoming hubs for extremists to congregate. The reason for that is these are growth hubs of the country. These are techno hubs of the country. And as you know, our external enemies do not want India to grow. And these are the areas where very high growth is there. There are young people. You have a lot of technical institutes, a lot of educational institutions in the Mangaluru area. You have a similar situation in Coimbatore. You have a similar situation in other locations where extremists have been moving to. The whole point is to try and make life miserable for the people there, and in a sense to divert investment away from there so that the growth potential falls. And this is what I think the public in India need to realize very carefully. A terror incident is not something that you watch on a television, but which doesn't affect you. Terror is an instrument of war which can affect every one of us. It can affect young people by preventing them from getting jobs that would have been prevented by this kind of an attack. It can prevent the economic and expansion of a location. Mangaluru is a very, very high potential location, a very high growth. Around there, you have so many institutions of excellence, you have so many technical institutions, you have so much of work going on in modern industry. And this is something that the enemies of India, now you and I know which two countries are very inimical to a strong and prosperous India. But these kind of forces are working through this kind of, if I may say so, unforgivable kind of elements of of society to create mischief, and create mischief precisely in those areas where they see the potential of India already, and where they see much bigger potential in the future. They want to smash that potential, and this is their game plan.
Right, Mr. Ved Bhushan, coming to you with the same question, what do you think about this connection between what had happened in Coimbatore and in Mangaluru, and the link with the PFI in this particular area?
Priyanka, both Simi and PFI before banning were born in southern states, Kerala and Karnataka and other places. Later on, they scattered all across the India. Now PFI again banned. It is learned that there are 20 other organizations which are doing the same work on the line of Simi and PFI. Police and investigating agencies, and they are doing their best to check the balances. But as Professor Nalapat rightly said, it is our duty also, it's Priyanka's duty also, to take care of all the things nearby going on. If everywhere police cannot be present, you see that there are a lot of three-wheelers are going, buses are going. It's our duty. More time, police already issues advisories, do's and don't do's. Let's all stand together for such things never again occur again in the society, and it's our own duty also. Let's wait for the investigation is close up, because all the witnesses, all the remnants are there. Or I think it's a very simple case to open for the NIA, and link will be established from which organization exactly they are coming from, because it's not a simple work they are going to lead. It's a blast. It's whether it's a crude bomb blast, it's sophisticated blast. Let's wait for the investigation. But yes, it is correct. Simi and PFI, there are other organizations also cropping up after growing, because as Professor Nalapat already indicated, another my friend P indicated, there Pakistan and other agencies, they all countries want that to destabilize India from what other Simi, from PFI, from other organizations. Let's see all the organizations to be banned and found involved in such anti-terror, anti-India activities. Over to you, Priyanka.
Right. Professor Nalapat, I come to you. Do you also think that there could be a hand or a link with some international outfits also in this particular incident?
Look, this particular incident is part of the ecosystem that has been developed over time in India by hostile entities from outside. They have created an entire dialogue inside India, outside India, a dialogue which bears no reflection to the truth of the situation on the ground in India. I had, just a few days ago, individuals from outside the country coming here, and they have traveled across the whole of North India and South India, and they were surprised. They said that we thought India, every day you have clashes between people of different faiths, every day you've got violence, every day all kinds of terrible things are happening, and we traveled all across India and we found nothing of the kind. So this is the kind of dialogue that is being created outside India. And in India, there's a dialogue created that you are under threat. There's no threat today. You're not feeling anything now. But 5 years from now, you'll feel a threat unless you take some action now. And there are vulnerable people who fall for that. So the problem is that this is the ecosystem of extremism and terror that is being created by the external enemies of India, what I have long called the Sino-Wahhabi alliance. And we need to be alert to this. So far as the public is concerned, whether you're traveling in a bus, whether you're traveling in a train or in an aircraft, if you have some kind of a box or some a pressure cooker or a box or something, and it's unattended, well, I think it's very important to draw attention to that, because one never knows. It could be one chance in 100,000. But if you go in for that kind of situation, if you identify that situation, it might be that 1 in 100,000 chance that can enable you to save a lot of lives. So the public needs to be conscientized about the war that is being waged on them, on the people of India, by external enemies on the livelihoods, on the future prosperity of theirs. And I think, as our distinguished expert from the Indian police force has said, this is a war that involves all of us. And I think it's important that the police, the security services, the public, everybody gets involved in ensuring that these enemies of India do not succeed.
Right, Mr. Bhushan, my final question to you, how do you identify these people and how do you also move forward in a proper crackdown in minds of the people when they decide to, take forward such activities? Because it was an IED blast which was well fitted inside a cooker, and what could have been the ways that we could have stopped from this to happen?
Rinka, as I told you that there are 20 organizations are there. It's the intelligence department of state as well as center, because it's a digital time. They keep watch what is going on in their groups, what is going, where the activities, where the money come from for supporting these organizations, and what the members' backgrounds are there. Because when SIMI and PFI was banned, there was thousands of their activists, the different parts of India. They change their platform. They come on the new platform. It is the duty of intelligence department to keep all the persons on watch list, and they do. They do all the time. They watch what they are going, what the social media is going, what their activities are going, what behind whose finances there. There are a lot of things involved. But it's always raw intelligence agencies, because they do work in very secretly. It's not in public domain. But I assure you that they are always in working. They are all different type of department inside to check all the things what to happening going in their organizations, because every organization had different files there. I can't tell you all the things how they process, how they investigate. It is a very serious and delicate matter, but I give you sure that they always keep in touch with all such organizations by different ways of means, the police and other local police, and they have some private detectives also. Different types of secret informers are there. They always work on these. But we are living in a very big country, it's a huge country, it's a huge population. It's very difficult for police agencies, local police, to check each and every person. But police always do, intelligence always do their best.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.